Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kakaaki Cancer Awareness with Dr. Denise Ejo in partnership with AIT. Thank you once again for joining us this week as we start another of our programs. Today, we are going to be giving a tribute to our chairman, late Chief Raymond Anthony Dopkesi, who died on the 29th of May 2023. May his soul rest in peace. Um, One of the things that we learn in life is give honor where honor is due. So today is a special edition. And so I'm going to go through just a bit of some questions and answers with my co-host. Today is a co-hosting day with Ronsi Chidebere. So just watch this space, sit back, relax, and let us all talk about the awesome work that late Chief Dopkesi has done in the cancer space to benefit most of us. Chief went through a roller coaster life, but he weathered the storms. Today we recognize his engagement using media. He brought health to our homes. The cancer space in Nigeria will always recall his service to humanity through his continued sponsorship of activities that educate the population. An achievement we, the cancer survivors, advocates, and all stakeholders will remember him for. Common Cancer Foundation has benefited from his benevolence since we came on air in October 2021. Project Pink Blue has also enjoyed support provided by Dark Communications. Dark Communications supported Project Pink Blue with financial support. For instance, in 2018, they hosted Show Love and the launch of psychological support, for cancer patients. Dark Communications plays crucial roles in helping us to raise funds across the cancer space. I want to welcome today to speak with me, Ronsi. Ronsi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for really inviting me for this very important tribute to High Chief Raymond Dopkesi. I'm really, really excited um, for the opportunity to really come provide this important tribute. High Chief is really such an important person in the country that I think um, it's a great loss, not just to Nigeria, but also to Africa.
Thank you. So let me introduce Ronsi briefly. Ronsi is a cancer control advocate, global health consultant, research psychologist, and the executive director of Project Pink Blue. He's one of the leading voices advocating for Nigerian government to make cancer control a national health priority. He has been engaged in supporting women battling with cancer, hosting oncology trainings for doctors, nurses, fundraising for indigenous patients, cancer awareness, founded in Nigeria, his first patient navigation, and the first cancer support group in Abuja, which he has headed. Ronsi, thank you for joining me this morning, and um, let's look at where Chief Dopkesi has been a real role model to all of us. And for me, I will forever be grateful because the voice of a patient makes a significant difference in understanding the challenges that we go through. From your perspective, let's start from there. From your perspective, I'm going to ask you, can you talk us through the your journey with him, your relationship with late or who?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I would want to really start that, our relationship with High Chief Dopkesi started when Project Pink Blue, Project Pink Blue was not even an organization at that time. That was when I was serving as a youth corps member, as an NYC member, as far as 2013. And I was just passionate as that young person who is not just focused on how criticizing our leaders to getting our leaders to make the change that we want, but as someone who wants to contribute to the change that I want to see in the society. So as a youth corps member, I wanted to bring the change, and that was how Project Pink Blue started. And that was the time, High Chief Raymond Dopkesi provided a very big platform for me as a corps member to really be on a national TV to talk about what I'm passionate about. I had that one of those first interviews as far as 2013, which really was very huge for me. And afterward, I have continued to engage. We've continued to work together. I've continued to provide support to my passion until the organization was fully established. And we continued. I remember as at 2015, 2016, when, for instance, we were pushing for the federal government to really have an institute for cancer control. AIT was one television station that was very passionate in supporting that passion. Same thing is applicable in 2018 when we wanted to really raise funds for cancer patients. AIT was also there for us. In fact, I remember a particular case where we raised almost 11 million for a specific cancer patient. It was AIT that provided this platform to help us to raise this money. We've raised money for so many cancer patients. About High Chief Raymond Dopkesi, one major thing that really comes to my mind is someone who really, put people over profit. Someone who stands a very important role in the life of the entire country, the entire continent. And I think the most important thing here is what we all as young people need to learn. There's a lot for young people to learn from his life. In as much as he set up this very big television station, but he was also committed in impacting the community, helping the needy, having a specific segment that helps to raise funds for indigent patients. Something even government could not do. He was doing it with his own platform. So this is really commendable, and I hope many businesses, I hope many young people across the country could learn from his life.
Thank you, Ronsi. Thank you for that briefing. But bearing in mind that we are fully aware of what he says and what the conversations are all about, I want to ask you another question. Cancer awareness is important to us. And with a major player like late Chief Dopkesi providing airspace, providing support for us financially, to name just a few, I'm just trying to be very straightforward. What would you say the long-term impact of his service to humanity will have on us, has had on us, and how do we want to take it further? What would you think would be a good way to go further with this?
So I think one of the most, important legacy he has laid and will continue to lay is giving patients the voice, right? You see, the problem is that many people really hear of cancer. Many people really see cancer as a death sentence, right?
I can hear him now.
Many people don't even know that there are people who survive cancer. So that fatalistic view of cancer is in the minds of so many Nigerians. And that is what I would say that High Chief Raymond Dopkesi have tried to demystify over the years and will continue to do. And I think that's such an important part of the work that he has done by providing a platform to demystify this disease, to demystify cancer and let people know that by having cancer patients on national TV to talk about their challenges, to share their passions, to share what we can do, talk about treatments, talk about so many policy issues that could bring a difference in the country. That is one important thing. And I think it's something we all should really not just recognize him for, but could be a platform to advocate for other television stations and other people to also emulate. Because the truth is that what I really learned from his life and from AIT is that they strongly believe that the government cannot do it alone, that everyone has to contribute from different levels to bring it different. I think that is really one very important legacy.
I want to totally agree with you on this, because if you look at it, I mean, you are a very big advocate in this space, and for someone like me that I live with it. I actually have come to terms with the fact that it's not so much what we expect, but people have so many preconceived ideas of cancer, of the treatment, of what to expect, that we make very inaccurate, if I want to use, decisions based on other people's views. And him giving us this space has really allowed for a communication on two sides, if that makes sense. Because
and that's why I called it that, not like a space. He gave patients the voice.
Yeah.
People who have not heard you before, now they can hear you. Many people who have not heard me before, now they can hear me. Now they know that cancer is not a death sentence. Now they know I have an opportunity to survive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, also looking at the campaigns we have on the literature, or I use literature as in writing, but it's not writing, the speaking of the different kinds of diseases. Because a lot of us are always focused on breast cancer, prostate cancer, the main five. But now we're able to open it up to all the different types of cancers, all the different types of challenges people face, all the different arms, or how do you call it? I think they call it the psychosocials, I think. All the different psychosocials people go through that are not supposed to be spoken about, that we don't really want to hear about. But yet, we're able to now hear about it and hear survivors explain it. I mean, no matter what we say, he has made this he has, in my view, put challenge, or is challenging all stakeholders now to invest more in the cancer space, in the awareness, in the advocacy. I mean, that's what I would think.
And do you know that since 2015, to the best of my own knowledge, that through High Chief Raymond Dopkesi and that communication has been committing every single year, have been committing to World Cancer Day.
I agree with you on that.
They have never missed it for every year. They provide jingle. They also, apart from airing the jingle, they also provide opportunity for even the staff of AIT to also receive screening. And not just the staff, also create awareness for people across the community to know what this disease is. Now, let's move people's knowledge of his contribution beyond awareness. Let's go to the level of, policy change. Do you know that most of the right now, the government actually, a few years ago, the government approved about over 1 billion naira through the Cancer Health Fund to support indigent patients. Do you know that AIT, that communication, and High Chief Raymond Dopkesi played a critical role in that funding? Because they provided the voice for patients.
Yes, and that's the key thing. The voice, continually providing the voice, makes a difference in changing policies, in changing narratives, in changing discussions. I mean, no matter what anybody says, I praise Dopkesi has really, really navigated. One thing that I want us to look at is the amount of fundraising he enabled. I mean, forget about me and you. Fundraising in the cancer space. We're not talking about Project Pink Blue. We're not talking about Commode Cancer Foundation. We're talking about all small, medium, large NGOs across the country that have engaged in one way or the other in in the screening programs, in the fundraising, in the fun day, in the bonding that has come from his giving us the space, if that's the way I'm going to put it, to let people know that there is something about community that makes a difference in helping others in times like this.
Yeah, and I also think it's really not just about the fundraising, it's also about how transparent this process has been. I have been richly involved in how that communication really raised funds for patients. And I remember in one particular point when the fundraising was to start for a patient, that the patient had, I think about stage 3 breast cancer, and we needed to raise funds for the patient. And when we reached out to the management, what they said was that, oh, Ronsi, we can help to raise these funds for this patient, but these funds cannot go to anybody's account, but to the account of the patient.
Which is what we want to hear.
Exactly. And the money went straight to the patient. Do you know how much we raised for that patient in that 2016? Was over 6 million naira. For one thing, over 6 million naira. For that patient.
You see the impact.
And I think this is so important because High Chief Raymond Dopkesi don't even know this patient. No. He doesn't even know who these people are. He just believes that these are Nigerians and they should be given a second chance at life.
Should I say something? I don't know him. I never met him. But I actually have benefited. So, for me, that means a great deal. For some, you know him personally. I never met him. But I sit today in awe of him because of what he has brought to the table for all of us. Because he opened that door and allowed us. The last one, if you remember when both of us were on for World Cancer Day 2023 with the UICC president. You remember? And
yes.
If not for the platform, would we really be bringing the globals into our space to say, you know what, come, let's all talk together. Let's make a difference. Let's try and get this message out and it be a fair and honest conversation. I mean, let us between me and you now in one sentence, charge the government to help us to sustain the work that has started. What he has done, let it continue with a positive. All right, go on. Give me.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to first of all to say that High Chief Raymond Dopkesi is such an important part of our life as a patient advocate, the life of many cancer patients across the country, across the continent, and we will continue to really remember him. I strongly believe that he did not leave. He just stepped aside, and his legacy will continue to live forever. And I strongly believe that his vision will continue to, create more impact, not just in cancer space, but in health and in all the different endeavors of our life. It's so painful. It's really, really painful that this very phenomenal man really, left us. But we can't question God. We can't really question anything, but we're just grateful to God that how God has kept him, and we pray that God will give his immediate family the fortitude to bear the loss. I think this is such an important time that we need to pray for the family. We need to pray for the company, pray for the organization, that God will continue to strengthen them in their capacity at this very important time. Because I'm sure that we are mourning, but they are also the primary mourners. And we pray that God will really be really helpful to them all.
I want to ask you one question. Speak to government. Don't run away from that. You're not going to run away from that.
Oh, no.
Because at the end of the day, that's what he wanted us to do. So we're not going to run away from that. You're going to end it with that. It's not finishing because I haven't finished.
Oh, no, I can never run away from, my advocacy to government to really continue to bring the change that we wanted. The good news is that We are all very happy that one of the things that we've been advocating for is for President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the bill to fully implement the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment. He signed the bill a few weeks before he left office, which is good. Now this institute has started functioning. So what we are pushing going forward is to engage the patient, to ensure that patients are part of the board of this institute, to ensure that patient focus institute is what we want. We want an institute that will not just employ people and people buy project vehicle and keep roaming around the country and not doing anything. We want an institute that will dive into research. We want an institute that will really care, truly care for cancer patients. That is what we want.
You see, if we didn't have this part, if you didn't add this part, Ronsi, then we would not have achieved what our chairman advocated for. He stood for it. I mean, no matter how I look at it, like I said, I came into this space not too long ago, but I know what I can see. We hear the phone calls, we hear the conversations, we listen to people tell us how much the awareness campaigns have impacted or made them make the right decisions. And if we don't recognize, like I started off saying, give honor to whom honor is due.
Yeah.
And for me and you who are sitting or who are recipients, direct recipients.
Yes.
Right? Direct. Let's not go far. Direct recipients. The hope for those who are from extension, we can only believe that they will also help us to create more awareness by remembering the work he has invested in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
It does, right? Because no matter how I see it, and I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, we have made progress and we've now got a new government, and as we go into this new government, we want to go 4 steps forward, not 3 steps backward. We want them to see that somebody has helped us.
Yeah, we want the government that will really, appoint minister who is a patient in Nigeria.
It would be very nice.
We don't want a minister who is a patient in London.
No, we want one here.
Who is a patient in France. We want a minister who also visits a Nigerian hospital. We want a health minister, health commissioners who visit the primary health centers. We want health directors who visit hospitals in Nigeria. That is the way they can feel the pulse of pain. That is how they can feel when to know that doctors are not in the facility, and not to tell us that we have enough doctors and that doctors can go to farm, can become farmers and stuff like that. So you are absolutely correct that some of the visions of High Chief Raymond Dopkesi is not just about building a big media firm, but also ensuring that different strata of the development of the country is really sane, especially healthcare. He was very passionate about healthcare. So we have to draw that chart as well to the government going forward, to really to know that the health of Nigerians are also very important, and these are his vision, and this vision will continue to advocate for.
Honestly, I want to say a very big thank you to you. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your commitment to the cancer space. But today we want to say a very big, from the bottom of our heart, thank you to late Chief Raymond Dopkesi. No matter what we say, our thanks can never be enough. His legacy, we pray to God, will long outlive him and his children and his will rest in peace, and people will remember him for what he has done, for the risks, those of us that don't even know where to get the money to pay for cancer treatment, and not just cancer treatment. Because we are talking about cancer doesn't mean that's all he did, but we're talking about cancer because our program is about cancer. However, we want to say to the family, may God grant you the grace to bear your loss, and we remember you. And as a nation, I think we all remember him. He was a business mogul, but above all, he was a broadcasting mogul. That's what I would say about him. What do you want to say for us to close?
Yeah, I would also just want to add that he was also a patient advocate. He was also a health advocate. He was someone who really wanted the best for the country. And I hope that his life and time will inspire so many young people to really dive into whatever business, whatever they are passionate about, to know that your dream is possible. He was the first person who showed every one of us that running a private media is possible in the country, in the entire continent. So know that your dreams are possible. You can achieve it. If High Chief Raymond Dopkesi was able to achieve it, you can achieve it. Don't feel that, oh, nobody have dived into this place. I can't dive in. So just get motivated, be inspired, and to be the change that you want to be.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for joining us this morning. Together we fight, together we win. The cancer space has lost a very great man, a philanthropist who has impacted all of us. From with a heart of humility, we say, may his soul rest in peace, and may God Almighty take him and keep him. You can join us all on our social media pages, Common Cancer Foundation, Project Pink Blue, and share the videos, click the messages, because we don't really want his work to go down. We want it to actually triple to 100 times over, that he invested in us, and we will make his legacy a proud one for generations yet unborn. We want to thank you all for joining us this morning, and to all our viewers, we look forward to seeing you again in the next 2 weeks, or first, second week in next month. Anything you want from us, please reach out to us on our website, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all our social media platforms, and you can find us and ask questions and raise any of your concerns. Thank you all for watching.